What's up, everybody? It's Kendra here, the Maverick Girl. We're doing some more Pauper nonsense. So we're going to play a whole bunch of good stuff here. In Pauper Elves, we're going to take this first spin, trying out what we can do here. Trying some different things this time. I actually have cut Elvish Vanguard from the list and gone more in on the Wellwisher Nettle Sentinel plan. Nettle Sentinel with Longbow is a pretty good thing. Nettle Sentinel, I think, is a little bit better at trying to get under a lot of the decks like Delver, Tron, things like that. Wellwisher is really good, in particular right now, with the cycling deck being everywhere. Harsh Sustenance I'm trying out. I don't know how main deck Harsh Sustenance is going to go for us. I've been seeing some people trying it to good effect. And it just helps against a lot of decks. So, and what's the worst case we could take it out, you know? So I figure we'll give it a shot, see how it does in the main deck. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, actually. But that's how it works here. So I see it's been a hot minute. Usually like Spidersilk versus Black Sweepers for Elves. I'm not so big on it. Well, I think right now the Black Sweepers are kind of down in the meta. I think we're going to see a little bit more Mono-Black Control today, just on the sheer virtue of that. If you actually if I can pull up the MTG Goldfish thing. So basically what MTG Goldfish started doing is they actually started showing, if I can pull this up here, there we go. MTG Goldfish started actually doing this right here. And they started only showing the most popular decks from the last 7 days, which has caused Mono-Black Control to show up at the very top of the list, when in actuality, it really isn't that big. You're talking about a lot of smaller events, lots of little things. So Mono-Black Control, it shows up, it's fine, it's not, and it's really popular in the player run events, which are also being recorded. If we go back a little bit further, though, go to 14 days and 30 days, it's still showing up here, but, like, the deck isn't that good right now. Delver still really kills it, Tron still kills it, Boros still kills it, but this is still showing up like everything that has even lower numbers, so people are still winning with it, and they're still doing okay with it, and don't get me wrong, there's absolutely nothing wrong with playing this deck, but it is probably like a pretty firm tier 2 deck, and it will like almost never be tier 1 unless we have a situation like where the time where Elves became like the top deck in the format because of what is it? Lead the Stampede came out. So everybody knew that Elves, like everybody and their mother wanted to play Elves, and everybody knew that Mono-Black Control just preyed on Elves. So suddenly Mono-Black Control became more tier 1 deck in the format just because of all of that, but it only stayed that way for about a week or two, and then it went away. It's been a very, very long time since Mono-Black Control was really that good, but yeah. I wouldn't say it's Garbo. I would just say it's not very good. I would say it's still not great in the metagame, but you can still get in and do like 3-2s and 4-1s, and occasionally, if you get the right matchups, you can get a 5-0 pretty easily. So that's fine, Nothing wrong with playing the deck that you want to play. You just have to realize that it might not always win. And so that's the thing. I'd rather push for a more positive air with attitudes rather than say the deck is just bad. I would, unless it actually is just like something bad like One Land Spy, because that deck is just actually bad. But with that having been said, I kind of just talked about a few of the things. I did change a few tiny things in the sideboard. Obviously, I'm only running 2 Spidersilks because I don't know. I feel like a lot of times where we're going to be running into decks that have a lot of the board wipes, we're also bringing in things like the Prohibits. In the case of the Delver decks, we're running things like the Scattershot Archer to help cut down some stuff. So, I don't know. Spidersilk just, it feels good a lot of times, but it's been feeling less good recently, if that makes sense. But I did go up to 2 Weather the Storms again. Last time, I played this last week a little bit. I went down to 1 Weather the Storm because I felt like I was seeing less burn and things like that. But with the new rise of the Cycling Songs combo, I think we really want to have the 2 Weather the Storms to really help bring up those numbers a little bit. Make shore up that matchup just a little bit. So I don't know how this is all going to go today. I haven't actually played Pauper very much in the last week, short of my little run on last Monday and a tiny bit into Tuesday where I just finished out my league with Elves, which ended up being, I ended up running into the cycling combo, which I think I showed on stream before my stream died because of Twitch. And then I ran into Wonderwalls, and then I ran into Elves. So I ran into 3 combo decks in a row and ended up 0-3 against them. So I just dropped the league. I haven't had a chance to play very much. I don't know how prevalent the cycling songs is still in the metagame, but or in the leagues rather, but we'll see how it goes today and check it out. I'm excited. We'll just play some Elves, you know, see how we can do here. So I'm curious to see how this is going to go. I've definitely had times before where I've just cut the Elvish Vanguards because they just didn't feel very good. Just like sometimes it's right to cut the Nettle Sentinels as well. I just think for right now, this is a little more geared towards where we probably want to be. Because Vanguard is good, but I think it fails in certain other areas. Again, such as the fact that it dies to a lot of removal very easily. It gets chump blocked. There's a lot of downsides to Elvish Vanguard. There's a lot of spots where it could be very good, but there's a lot of times where it's just, I don't know, a little lacking compared to a lot of the other options that we have available to us. So we got a match, so let's see what we've got going on here. All right, we got Carrera, 7. Hand seems good. We got great ways to ramp. We've got a Lead the Stampede, and we got Wellwisher. I mean, this all feels really strong to me, so let's keep it, see what we got. Scoured Barrens. Remember how I said that we weren't likely to run into Pestilence? About that. Oh boy. So this is going to be a bad time. Almost certainly. Unless we can kind of get out really fast underneath them. Something like a Priest of Titania would be pretty good. I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Let's whisper, huh? Forecast gate 2 leaks. Yeah. Makes sense. So our goal here is just to obviously just get out underneath any Pestilence nonsense as quickly as possible. Really need a Priest of Titania of some kind. Lys Alana's good, but not really what we need at the moment. So let's go for the Lead the Stampede and try and find the Priest of Titania, because that's like the big thing we need right now. We found the Priest, but we're putting a Melody on the bottom, so that kind of sucks. So let's play Quirion Ranger, do this, play the Priest, gain 5 life. And then next turn we should actually be able to go off, spit out our board, or spit out our hand pretty effectively. And then it's just going to kind of come down to what happens after that. Do they get the Pestilence? Do they have more spot removal? Things like that. If they have the spot removal, then they can pretty cleanly take care of that Priest of Titania, which will be a bit of an issue. So let's see what they got. Crypt Rats. Alright. That won't do it. So I want to be really careful about what I do here. I think I want to play the Lys Alana Huntmaster so I can really force the damage through. I want to go for the Wellwisher. I also want to make them pop. Like, I'm going to cast this Lead the Stampede first. See what happens with this. Well, that was very good. So now we just got to kind of force them to have, or we got to make them use the Crypt Rats here. I was trying to think of like what might be a good way we can do this, you know, to make them really go at us here, but also kind of salvage what we're trying to do at the same time. Feels like if we wanted to go in on this, then we probably want to cast the other Wellwisher here, so that we get a really strong board against them attacking. And then that holds us up, the Birchlore Rangers with Nettle Sentinel, Llanowar Elves, Quirion Ranger, could probably play the Priest of Titania. Maybe not the Priest. No. No, I think we can still do that. Yeah. So, gonna be a little tight. I think, yeah, let's go for the Wellwisher. And the other thing, too, is if they don't use the Crypt Rats, then we're still okay. Because then we just attack for a bunch. Push down their life total. Heck yeah, Metallica's great. I think they're fantastic music. And triple Crypt Rats. Boy, totally didn't see that one coming. Alright. So let's let them pass. And obviously, Nettle Sentinel into Birchlore Rangers, into all the other nonsense. So we're pretty good here. The one thing that is a problem is that they can still go for, next turn, they can go for a Pestilence into an actual board wipe. Okay, or they just disfigure here. That's a bit of an issue. Sure. But we could play this island, and then we can just kind of start going in a little bit next turn. Again, assuming that there's no Pestilence or anything like that. But this is going to be a rough time. Postboard gets a little bit easier. So what we're going to do postboard is we're going to bring in two of the Gleeful Sabotages. We don't want to go too hard just because Pestilence obviously isn't like their main focus a lot of times. Pestilence is just where the game ends. Prohibits we want some number of, and we want the 2 Spidersilk Armors to make it harder for them to really get us effectively with a quick Pestilence. We'll bring out some number of Distant Melodies, keep one of them. Probably bring out the Essence Wardens and 2 of the Wellwishers, because they're not as relevant in this matchup. So we'll lead on Quirion Ranger. Tap down these. Play Priest. And now we can go for Timberwatch Elf. So let's see if they have the way to blow up this board, deal with what we've got on our side of the field here. And try and see if we can't just beat them out. If they drop the Pestilence, then we've lost. Guardian? Sure. Guardian's fine. Unmake. Okay. Interesting. So Springbloom Druid, here's why I like Springbloom Druid a little more than Sylvan Ranger. Even though I actually, if you didn't see it back here, I just put up, that is the actual artwork, original artwork piece for the promo Sylvan Ranger. So, yeah. But I think Sylvan Ranger versus Springbloom Druid they have their pros and cons. I think a lot of times, if you're trying to get out the island from the Springbloom Druid, it doesn't really make too much of a difference in terms of trying to cast a Distant Melody right then and there or the next turn. A lot of times you will have maybe already cast everything. How much was the art? 900, I think? Alright, that's a Crypt Rats. Another Crypt Rats, Jesus. Well, we can pretty much wrap this up at this point. I'm content passing that along. 2 of those, 2 of those, and 2 of those. Cut the melodies. Cut 2 Wellwishers. And cut Essence Wardens. Longbow is actually really good here. So if we had actually drawn a Longbow or just a Melody in that one game, and we had that opportunity, that window with the dealing with the Crypt Rats, we would have actually been fine, because we would actually just kill the Crypt Rats and continued our game. But it didn't work out that way. There is an argument that maybe we could also bring in Gut Shot, but I don't think it's that great here. But yeah, so I think Springbloom Druid is a little bit better, because a lot of times actually finding the blue mana right then and there doesn't really matter. It's just good to have on the field just so you can actually get to the Distant Melodies or to your Prohibits, but it's not always, dire. And it also gets 2 cards out of your deck as opposed to just 1. See, it's not bad, but it's not great either. It's got problems in the sense that they can just wipe us out kind of quickly here. We need to be a little faster than this. I think I'm going to mulligan this. I'm not really happy to mulligan it, and that's why, because we could run into hands like this. But I think we're going to do it like that. Yuck. And we found the 1 island hand. So this is probably just going to be a loss, like instantly. I can already tell you it's probably going to be a loss. I'm pretty comfortable just tossing these back. We try with this, see what we can do, but we're going to lose this. The only way we don't lose this is if they happen to draw into just actual garbage. Like, if they didn't really find any answers, but they probably got a land, Disfigure, and we're probably just going to die. Yep. Almost F6 through the turn. Let's play Nettle Sentinel and see what we can do here. Another Disfigure, sure. And R1.Orzhov Pestilence, maybe? Mm-hmm. So we got Llanowar Elves. Feel like they just got another removal spell. Oh, okay. So we can stick the landing on this Timberwatch Elf. But that might not really matter too much here. Oh, and we actually stick the landing with this too. So we can actually get a small hit in with the Llanowar Elf. But again, it's probably not going to matter long term here. We're probably still very much dead. I'm trying to think if there's even a way that we can get there here. Maybe if we find another Quirion Ranger and go double Timberwatch Elf attack. But even that only hits for 12 points of damage. No, not even. Doomblade. Priest. Sure. I don't like the Priest here too much. Like, this is where we'll probably just skip it up next turn. Because they probably have some kind of a board wipe. If they have a Crypt Rats, we're dead. If they have a Shrivel, we're dead. If they have Pestilence, we're dead. And that's just one of those points where you just got to take the loss for what it is. And I'm also going to start using, what is it? mtgmeta.io. It's a pretty cool little site. Found it. And I'm going to track my matches and see how we can start building a repertoire kind of with all these matches and everything. Ooh, that is actually very good here. We can't go in for a reasonable attack, but this makes it harder for them to actually wipe out our board. So let's run with it and see. My big hope here is that I can try and find a Lead the Stampede that can actually like push through a lot of damage. Oh, they got the Pestilence with Guardian. We're just dead. Easy loss. We'll take it on the chin. And just go with it. Alright. Matches current Melody Elves. Versus opponent. Alright, so lost to Pestilence. 0-2. Alright, let's try that and see how this goes. So, we're 0-1. Not the greatest start. Whoopsie. But we're going to try and see if we can keep it up and try and get there from here. Again, this always seems to happen whenever I like play elves. If I play something that's not elves, I never run into the mono black decks. I never run into Pestilence. Heck, I don't even run into Izzet Delver a lot. But whenever I run elves, I just seem to get all of the decks. Whenever I seem to run elves lately, I seem to run into the decks that just hate it out. It's just weird how it happens. Alright, but how are you all doing today? You all having a pretty good day? I know it's a Monday, but... And, you know, we got all this quarantine nonsense going on, but, you know, I think we're still doing the best we can, living the best life we're able to at the moment. Second to last Organic Chemistry 2 classes this morning. Well, hopefully you enjoyed it all the same. I got to have a good time with it. Especially right now, it's about all we can do these days, you know? I know in Florida and New York, because I have family in New York, they're actually not finishing out even the rest of the school year at school, so on campus and everything. It's going to be it's a crazy world we're living in right now. So, but we're kind of trying to forget that a little bit here. You know, we're just trying to have some fun, play some Pauper, play some Magic, and just have the best time we possibly can with it. Toast Machine. What? It's been a long time since I've seen Toast Machine. Did they come out of hiding because somebody put Blitz onto the map again? We're going to keep this hand. No, they're not on Blitz. They are on Elves. So we got a mirror match, but we got Melody here. So as long as we can actually stick the landing with the Melody. The fact that we got Melody, Timberwatch Elf, the Wellwishers, feels really good. The problem I have here is the fact that we don't have the blue mana currently. But if we could find that blue mana really quickly, then we're set. So let's see just how this match continues. But I liked this hand from the get-go, just between the Wellwishers, the Timberwatch Elves, all of that stuff. I got Timberwatch with Quirion Ranger, so we have to be very careful about this turn. I don't want to go too deep on everything. I want to be able to have Wellwisher available and not die, you know. That seems like a good plan. Because if we go too deep onto the elves, then they can just get in there with Timberwatch Elf and just kind of kill us. How's it going, Ironlancer? Having a good day? I certainly hope you are. Interesting. So they're trying to push damage through with a Timberwatch Elf? No? Ooh, another Quirion Ranger. So that's an easy block, right? I don't care about that as much. I care a little more right now about getting these Wellwishers on the board. Two, 4, 6, 8. 8 times 3, 24, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. We're still probably dead. Another Timberwatch Elf. Yikes. What cards do I think are poised to break out? What would be worth looking into? I'm not really too sure about that, to be honest. It's hard to say with a lot of the format, the way it is. It's been kind of stable and playing the same decks over and over again. And it's hard to say. I think I'm still dead here. Yeah, I'm very dead. We're just going to scoop it up and go to the next game. So 2 gut shots and another Viridian Longbow and 1 Gleeful Sabotage should do it. We'll take out the Harsh Sustenance here. Elvish or Essence Warden is actually actively bad. Actually, we'll bring in another Gleeful. No, let's keep it at 1. I think 1 is pretty good for the deck that the build we're on currently. And we can cut 1 Wellwisher too. I think I should be okay. 3 Wellwishers is probably fine for the mirror match. Yeah, it's hard to say when a card is actually good to break, potentially worth breaking out. The only one I can actively think of off the top of my head that, like, I'm amazed hasn't had a home yet is Ashnod's Altar. God, this hand is bad. Yeah, I gotta mold that. This is better, but slow. Really slow going. I think I'll keep his hand and ship back the Huntmaster. Feels right. I've never actually seen it in an actual competitive deck. I wouldn't call it playable. Ooh, piece of candy. Okay. So I think we actually skip the Wellwisher here and go to the Priest of Titania. That's going to be a much more important card, I think, for this particular matchup. Oh, yeah, if you play the Ivalian Denizens kind of deck, then yes, I could maybe see that at that point. But that's, like, the only real way. Okay, Fyndhorn Elves, you suck. Get out of here. Actually, let's do it like this. That's really good. So now we got Timberwatch Elf active, so let's see what they've got going on here. The one man, yeah, Viserys here. Yeah, I wouldn't put any stock into saying, like, you know, someone's going to break out out of that deck. No. But Ashnod's Altar feels like it's very close to actually being a card, if that makes sense. I played Winding Way. I have 4 cards off of Winding Way, too. Quirion Ranger, Vanguard, Birchlore, Nettle Sentinel. Okay, Elvish Vanguard. Nettle Sentinel. Birchlore. The fact that they're playing the cards that they just revealed kind of tells me that they just don't have a ton. What are they doing here? Wellwisher? Okay. Another Birchlore Rangers. So then they have a Quirion Ranger. Now the real question becomes, do they have Distant Melody? They do not. Ooh, piece of candy. Alright. Summon good. Well, I found a Quirion Ranger. That's pretty solid, but we put back those, so a bit of a yikes from me. You like Thunderous Wrath? Yeah, Thunderous Wrath has always been like one of those ones. People have tried it, and to mixed results. One of the other problems we've seen with that card is that see here. First off, 2, 4, 2, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I can't get there. We can gain a whole bunch of life though. Let's do that. Exactly, that's part of the problem. And Brainstorm has historically not been super prevalent in this format, so it's not as good. Maybe I should have tried to push the damage through with the Timberwatch Elf. I think the life gain is a little more important here. More Quirion Ranger nonsense, sure. So this is basically going to boil down to like who ends up getting the key piece first. Who can get the Distant Melody? Who can get the Viridian Longbow? And this is why we want Viridian Longbows in this matchup. Because otherwise, we're just going to sit here and do a whole lot of nothing for a while. Like, there's no sense in me attacking with the Timberwatch Elf, because then they'll just gain life to respond to it, and they won't even block. So there's not really a point to me going into the Timberwatch Elf. And again, this is literally going to boil down to who draws Distant Melody first, who draws Viridian Longbow, things like that. This clock has more time? Yeah. But that's because I've also been doing a lot less than my opponent has. I'm not F6ing outright because I don't want to accidentally run afoul of what they're doing. Interesting that they're picking up that many forests. Priest of Titania, sure. Ha! It certainly did not. But boy howdy, sure love to see the mirror match on life gain, right? So now you all get to see, I don't think I've really actually shown too often just how much like this matchup could stonewall. And this is a perfect example of that. Okay, Lead the Stampede, that's good. Hard whiff on the Lead the Stampede, unfortunate. Very rare to see a zero draw of Lead the Stampede, but it is what it is, you know. That's the risk of it. It's calculated variance, and just every so often you're not going to get there with it. But on the bright side, it also did get rid of, like, so we don't top deck a bunch of forests. You get back to the meat of the game. All right. Let's pass it off to them again. See what we can do. I don't need to play out too many lands. Being on 2 lands right now is probably fine. I'd rather get more life just in case we end up getting destroyed. Oh yeah, there's definitely kill cons, but we just have to get there. I think we've only put 1 melody to the bottom. So we're probably okay. Springbloom Druid. Do I want to play this? Yeah, sure. Shuffle up the deck, thin it out. Get the island out of the deck. Tap that. Games like this are fantastic to see in paper. Yes and no. This board state in paper would get tremendously cluttered. I promise you that. So it would be, I would be hesitant to, you know, jump to wanting to get in on this particular matchup in paper. All right, if they have that, okay, they got to Lead the Stampede. What do they find off the Lead the Stampede? We'll find out now. That's a lot of hits. Okay. Double Timberwatch is good for them because they kind of can get there eventually, but it's not really game-breaking here. They're obviously just going to cast everything. So they're playing Lys Alana first so they can get maximum value off of this. But even with like 4 Timberwatch activations to our 2 Wellwisher activations, we've gotten so much value off of this Wellwisher already that would still take them multiple turns to actually kill us with unblocked stuff. Oh, Sliver's Mirror by a mile. Sliver's Mirror is the worst mirror match I've ever played ever. The thing about Pauper Elves as a mirror match is you usually actually just kind of sit there and dirtle. You know, you can't, or I shouldn't say that you sit there and dirtle. Both players usually end up, like, the games actually usually end fast. That's what I'm trying to get at. So basically what happens in the Pauper Elves mirror match is one player will tend to get out, like the Timberwatch Elf, or just go off or explode a lot more quickly than the other player, leading to games that end really quick. And just very occasionally, Neither player gets there, and we get stuck with games like this. Slivers is always a bad time no matter what happens, because both players end up drawing the same kind of things. Both players' cards influence the other side of the board. It is terrible. So let's see what starts to happen here. This is okay. We're getting close to an ending of sorts. You turned on Elf's Mirror that neither player found the kill really quick. I'm okay with this. And they've still got an unused... Sure, I can take that. Yeah, exactly. This is what happens when neither player hits Longbow or Melody. I'd sure like to see a Melody right about now. Yeah, sure. I've got enough mana between 4 Priest Titanias that I don't really care. Wellwisher like that is fine. Ugh. You hate to see it. We have 5 Timberwatch activations, about 50 elves on the board, 250. Still in for a bad time. At this point, I'm probably going to start throwing the dorks in front of the Elvish Vanguard, just so we can at least kind of blunt the assault a little bit. Okay, so they hit Nettle Sentinel, Wellwisher, Priest of Titania. We're going to see all of those come onto the battlefield here in a second. You'll hear opponent's turn. Let's let them do their thing. Elvish Mystic blocks here. Sure. Let's do that, and just F6, pass the turn. Not much we can do at this point. Big tilt. So that was the thing. We took a pretty good chunk of damage on that last turn, but we're still got plenty of, fire here to keep ourselves in the game. Ulamog's Crusher, huh? That's a interesting bit of tech there. Been a hot second since I've seen some Ulamog's Crusher. Like that, F6. See what they do. Alright, deck, something good, please, one time. Never didn't have it. Alright, so how am I doing this? We're going to try and kill these. Okay, so we got those out of the way. So now we can go for the Timberwatch Elves. Yeah, that's a good point. This here. Kill that. This here. And I think killing the Birchlore Rangers is the important one here. Because then we can ensure that they don't distant melody us. It might be Priest as well. No, I think we should get rid of the Birchlores first. And we'll do that. Hit the Priest. So now they only have one. We can lose the Priest of Titania and the Llanowar Elves, I guess, on this next turn. But Timberwatch blocks the Ulamog's Crusher, and we should be pretty good. Now, they clearly have a Gleeful Sabotage to take care of the Viridian Longbow. That's totally fine. We got a lot of the problem cards out of the way. That should kind of give us an ability to stabilize. How's the league going? We are 0-1 so far. We lost to Pestilence. We are on game 2 here. We lost game 1. They got us out, or they got us pretty quickly. This time we managed to stick the Longbow before they did. We got rid of a couple of their key cards, and so we'll see what happens at this point. Ulamog's Crusher comes in, sure. So I'm going to lose the Llanowar Elves and the Priest here. The Timberwatch Elf will block the Ulamog's Crusher and pump itself. So now we just got to see what they've got going on. There's the Gleeful Sabotage for the Longbow. Totally figured that was going to happen. At this point, I think it's worthwhile just holding on to the Fyndhorn Elves a little bit. Is the Pestilence matchup a bad one? It can be. I built this list not expecting Pestilence, so yeah, we kind of had a bad time. Winding Way finds Nettle Sentinel, Wellwisher, Priest of Titania, but no actual win con. Or no, it didn't find anything. It found Spidersilk Armor, Longbow, Timberwatch Elf, Gleeful Sabotage. So they do have a a Timberwatch Elf, but it's not going to do well against our Quirion Ranger Timberwatch, and they lost some of their other answers to our board state. So, seems like them decking out or running out of time. I mean, it could be either direction. If we still have another Longbow in our deck, we have not seen any Distant Melodies whatsoever at this point. We very much still have a shot. They have a shot at killing us, but the fact that I've already taken out 3 of their Quirion Rangers and 2 of their Timberwatch Elves means they're still in for a bad time. If they attack with the Elvish Vanguard, though, I'm probably going to block and pump. Interesting. Seems aggressive. Easy Fyndhorn Elves blocks there. Timberwatch pumps. Ugh. Just barely out of range. So now I gotta do this. And at this point, they got so many 1/1s that the Wellwisher is basically just canceling out the majority of the damage. So I'm totally okay with this. I'm not okay with finding these forests. Well, let's see how this continues to go. But the fact that we got rid of Vanguard bodes really nicely for me as far as I'm concerned. And they've got the Longbow this time and way more creatures, way more mana. That should just wrap it up here, folks. I'm not going to even bother trying this because they'll just completely wipe my board out in every sensible fashion. I could manage to survive for another turn, but it wouldn't make much difference. Yeah, I'm good scooping here. What's up, Steven? How are we doing? Let's go on to the next one, see how we can do the next one. But that was a good game all the same, and it really just came down to a matter of who could get there first. and they happen to get there. So not too much I can do about that. Can't be too upset. You just got to move on and keep it going, right? Yeah, how are you doing, Steven? You having a good time? Everybody, definitely check out Steven. Stephen Galaxy is a friend of mine, local friend. Plays a lot more like indie games and such like that. But he's a good time. Always good chat. So get in there, hang out, send him some love. At least an elf one. Yeah, that's a fair assessment. So for those of you just tuning in, hanging out, so we're obviously trying elves right now. Figured that we would have a rough time of things, just because there was a lot more mono black, but I figured, hey, it's a good way to start whenever I do a Pauper stream of some kind. After this, we're going to try for the very first time, we're going to try my hand at the Cycling Songs deck. And then we're going to try, what is it? We're going to try Bogles, and we're going to do Stompy if I've got time. So it should be a fun time all around. But yeah, how are you all doing today? Seen a whole bunch more fresh faces in here. How you all hanging out here? How you doing? Hope you're having a good old Monday, one way or another here. But it just sent you a link. You 5-0'd. Nice. Got posted online. Awesome. I haven't had many 5-0s posted in a while. I think the last 5-0 I had was posted... Honestly, I think it was in 2019. But then again, I also kind of haven't been playing as much Magic in the last year or so. And I'm only really just starting to get back into it a little more in the last month or so with the streaming. So we haven't gotten any 5-0s yet, but we've gotten like some 4-1s and whatnot. And we'll get there eventually. Unsure. Okay. Wow, this hand is great. I think this is the easiest keep I've had all day. Well, that first hand from game 1 was pretty good too, or for the first match was pretty good. And then we got Pestilenced, so, or double Crypt Rats, I should say. So let's see if we can do a little bit better this time around. Hopefully get a pretty solid match going on here. Because this is pretty easy, right? It's Llanowar Elves. We can go Quirion Ranger, Priest of Titania. The following turn after that, we have double Lead the Stampede. Like, this all just feels really good. Island. Preordain. So my guess here is this is going to be one of two things. It's probably going to be either Mono Blue Delver or it's going to be Dimir Delver. It could be something different, but that's kind of where my initial gut reaction wants to go here. So we're actually going to go, since we got the Essence Warden here, let's go for Essence Warden, Quirion Ranger, Priest of Titania. We won't get the second forest on the board, but this way we kind of build our board state a little bit faster to avoid any of their counter magic. Yeah, it's kind of inevitable that there's going to be some bans at some point, I think. You know, whether or not people want them, I think it's just kind of inevitable from a standpoint of format health. Some of the players, like the already enfranchised players, right, they might enjoy the format currently, but a lot of other players don't. And that's kind of thing I think a lot of players tend to not realize or... okay, totally expected that counterspell, so let's do this. Ugh. I mean, we got good stuff on our board here, but we can't hit this Distant Melody, which kind of sucks. But we get Priest, we get Wellwisher, we get another Fyndhorn Elves, and we get to attack for some damage. So I think at this point we're pretty solid, and we can actually hold up our board a little bit, or hold up our hand, play the forest, make it seem like we just kind of bricked a little bit. Actually, this might be good. Now, if we can hit a blue... If they're tapped out and we hit a blue source, then we can get this Distant Melody fired off, no problem. Okay, so Diabolic Edict pretty much says that they're on either Dimir Delver or some, like, teachings list. Wow! And we hit the Birchlore Rangers, too. Holy crap. Okay, we're in business now. So, let's do this. And we even have the Harsh Sustenance in the main deck, too. There it is! Speak of the devil. Alright. Let's fire this off. They just gave it to us. Okay, cool. And Lead the Stampede would have found 4 creatures. So, yeah, we were getting there. And, okay, so this one is a little tricky. Spidersilk Armor feels like a must. But they haven't shown us enough to really show us what deck they're on. It could be Dimir Delver, it could be Dimir Alchemy, it could even be Mystical, or it could be Teachings. So that makes things a little tricky. I'm not sure that I really want Gutshot or Prohibit. Scattershot Archer isn't good against the Dimir Delver decks anyway. So for now, I think in this game we're gonna go down to a Melody and down. I want to say Longbow, but I feel like something like the Essence Warden or a Wellwisher is also reasonable here. Well, actually, let's bring in the 2 Prohibits too. Yeah, 2 Prohibits, cut Essence Warden, the 2 Essence Wardens, and the Longbow. Wellwisher's fine. Might want to cut the or might want to bring those Essence Wardens in more on the play, but I think like this, where we can easily get on the back foot a little bit, this is probably a little fine. This is kind of a little more where we want to be. Hand is great, so we'll roll with this. This is. We can't get the Springbloom Druid online, but we can get everything else. So, pretty solid here. Ooh, and a 3rd Forest. Okay. So let's get the Nettle Sentinel online. Next turn we'll attack, play Birchlore Rangers. That should give us blue mana. We can play Prohibit. Chainer's Edict. Okay. Had a feeling that might happen. This is still fine and dandy, though. So we go Birchlore, Llanowar Elves, pass the turn, see what happens. I could see either one of these actually dying here, so we'll just see how this plays out. Preordain, sure. Should have 6 here. There's not really any point in me not doing that. Alright, so they are tapped out. Let's go for Springbloom Druid. Sack this, get the island and the forest, and just pass the turn over to them. I'd rather hold up the Prohibit so that we can kill any shrivel nonsense or anything like that. And then next turn, we can also go Lead the Stampede with holding up Prohibit if they don't do anything to make us use the Prohibit. Three mana for Forbidden Alchemy. So this seems like it's Dimir Alchemy then. I mean, it could be Teaching still, but for now, we'll just roll with it, assuming that this is what we're at. Soul Manipulation means it could be a couple things too. So we'll see. Lead the Stampede. Alright, Priest and Huntmaster is a good draw. And we'll just pass. Not much I can do here. I'm sure our opponent must be going like, what the heck are they doing? Sure, you got me. Oh no, that makes my Prohibit harder to cast. Ugh, I can't do anything with this Prohibit. That's unfortunate. You know, I was thinking they might have the Disfigure too, so I should have read that a little bit better. Oh well. Five mana, Probe. Target player discards 2 cards. I want to keep this Prohibit. Like, yeah, Huntmaster would have done a lot to get us to like further our board, but I really need this Prohibit. Now I got mana, I can reasonably attack. Prohibit can be held up. Chainer's Edict. That's fine. We just lose the 1/1 that's basically blank text. Lead the Stampede seems pretty solid here. Prohibit the Prohibit. We didn't get very far here, but we got some good stuff. So we may be a little more weak to something like a board wipe, but at the same time we can still actually push the damage through here. Just worth F6ing at this point. Two cards on top. Augur into Counterspell. Okay. A Prohibit's really nice here. So I think I just pass. Like, I want to keep this board as much as humanly possible. They might not think that we may have drawn into another Prohibit, so they may just kind of let us go. Hey, Bird of Paradise, how are you doing? Echoing Decay on that. We know they got a Counterspell and one other thing. That's fine. I think there's other things I want to be worrying about a little more as far as the mana generation goes. I also think them hitting Llanowar Elves over the over Birchlore Rangers is a little sketch. Is being reactive good in Elves? It can be. Do I want... Yeah, that's fine. Reactive is alright. So... Crandom, thanks so much for the follow. What's up? Welcome to the Elf Ball. So, being reactive in Elves is good because you want to... Because here's the thing, right? If your opponent is doing things to, like, basically lock out your board, you want to have something that can actually, like, blow them out of the water a little bit. Muldrifter is fine. You want to basically be on the defensive a little bit. You want to basically stop them from killing your board. You want to make sure that you can get there and establish your game plan. Four mana, what you got? Ah. Forbidden Alchemy, sure. Alright, so yeah, this is definitely Dimir Alchemy. Ooh, piece of candy. Alright, so they probably... Okay, can we get there? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we should be able to stop any counter magic. I've already shown... This is counterspell number 2. Yeah, that's fine. Muldrifter number 2, sure. We're probably going to have a bad time in this matchup at this point. If the fact that we're just kind of already unstable, they're drawing a lot of cards, means and they're going to start attacking for damage. We do have the Harsh Sustenance to kind of push a little damage through if we really need to, but I think this isn't looking too good for your lovely narrator, friendos. Wellwisher's good. Can we get there with Wellwisher? Wellwisher's stuck. Okay. We'll see if it sticks around. Sure. Spot removal, I don't mind so much. Like that, keeping that there might help, or might like help keep it together, but I don't know. I also wonder if we're going to see something like Ghostly Flicker, and they're going to try and flicker us or something. And, like, try and play, like, Ratlock. I don't think so, but... Sheener's Edict? Sure. We'll lose a Quirion Ranger. Yeah, but it happens, you know? You gotta take the wins with the losses. It just happens. I try and... You know, I definitely have my days where I tilt really hard. And don't get me wrong, tilting is totally fine as long as you're not doing it, like, at somebody. You know, if that makes sense. Everybody gets a little salty every once in a while, you know? And you just try and do the best you can with what you got. So that's what we're just doing here. Even if we're losing, we're trying to win, doing what we can, just keeping the train rolling. What you got, opponent? So they're going to try and just utilize the Chainer's Edicts that are in their graveyard as much as possible. But this is also, the other thing about this is when we're doing this, it gives us a good idea of what they've got going on in their deck because we get to see a lot of their cards in their graveyard here. So we can get a pretty good idea of their list. Another Chainer's Edict, sure. We'll lose the Llanowar Elves here. This is kind of just how this works with all of these control matchups. We just want to try and push through as much damage as possible against them. Trying to get in there for 6 here. I really want to attack, but I think I actually want to try and kill one of those Muldrifters first. 3. Yeah, we want to kill the Muldrifter. This will gain me some life, kind of keep me in the game a little more. We have counter magic against them. Negate. Got another counter spell? They do, okay. So they're out of counter magic, if nothing else. They do have a Forbidden Alchemy in their yard, so they can kind of get there a little bit. Oh, another Muldrifter. Great. That's just what I wanted to see. So, Gutshot still seems bad. Scattershot actually is not that good. Like, yes, they're going over the Muldrifters, but we have to actually try and kill those Muldrifters. So, it doesn't seem like it's very good or effective here. We found a Melody, but it's gonna get countered or something. No? Okay. Okay, that's not gonna stop those Muldrifters, though, so we're just gonna scoop it on up. We got a good idea of what they're doing, though. Relic can probably come in here. Longbow actually is good, where Scattershot Archer isn't very good, but I would rather kind of have those here. Wellwisher, I think it's still fine, but I think Essence Warden is probably a little bit better on the play. You can cut the Harsh Sustenance here. I actually kind of don't know why I kept that last game. And then I already cut a Huntmaster. Oh no, that's just normal. Okay. And probably one Timberwatch Elf. 2 Melody seems okay still. This is sketchy. If we can get the Springbloom Druid, then it's fine, but nah, this seems too risky. This is better. We just put a forest on the bottom, go land, Elvish Mystic. I think the play is actually to go... I don't know. This is weird. I still think it's Elvish Mystic. I'm not really happy about it. Maybe it was Essence Warden, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Oh, that works. Scrybug! What you doing there, Scrybug? What you got, opponent? That smells like an Agony Warp, so let's try and bait out the Agony Warp and play the Huntmaster next turn. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. This is awkward. So I can cast Birchlore Rangers and then cast a Huntmaster, but I can't go Huntmaster into Birchlore Rangers, which kind of sucks. I still think I'm going to go for the Birchlore into... yeah, let's go Birchlore into Huntmaster. So they know we're Hellbent. But we'll see what happens. Two cards at the bottom with the Preordain. They pass the turn. We find a creature. Busted. So we at least get a little value off of this Huntmaster, even if they kill it. Sure, Forbidden Alchemy is fine. Put Muldrifter, Augur of Bolas, and Dimir Guildgate into the graveyard. Makes you wonder what they kept. Nothing I can do this turn, so let's just yield through it, F6. Angler Bangler, what's up, friendo? Springbloom Druid, what's up, buddy? Cool. We're just going to F6. There's no point in attacking. We'll get 5 points of damage through. They'll kill the Huntmaster. Again, the longer we draw this out, the more we risk running into like a Shrivel or an Evankar's Justice or something like that. But I think this still is the way we have to go about this. So we'll get 7 damage through if we attack. And then if they don't play... Well, no, we won't, because those two are summoning sick. A little risky. I mean, at this point, even if we draw a Distant Melody, we probably just don't get it. Like, I'm going to cast this Lead the Stampede, and they almost certainly have a counterspell. Yep. Totally called that. And this is basically where we're at now. We just have to just force through the counter magic at this point. So, again, I could have attacked there. I think I want to try and get another hit through. Okay, yeah, Suffocating Fumes definitely hurts this a little bit. And now they can go Chainer's Edict, the Huntmaster. And it dies. If we can actually find something, then we're in better shape. Agony Warp will do it. Well, we found another Lead the Stampede, so that's good. This actually was a good draw. All right. We're sort of back in the game a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. Yeah, you can hit me for 7. That's fine. Muldrifter. You're a little late there, friend. Let's try and force out some of that counter magic before we can kind of try for that relic play. I have like a sneaking suspicion that my opponent, I don't know. Alright, so let's see what happens. They're going to attack all in. We take 9 points of damage. It's fine. Buy back Evan Carr's Justice. We're dead. I'm not even playing that. We're 0-3. This is kind of what happens. I totally said, like, we're going to, like, play the rest of our league. We're going to play the rest of this league and just see how it goes. But a lot of times what's going to happen, right, is we're going to run into, like, it seems like whenever I play Elves on stream lately, like, if you're watching this on YouTube or something, or if you're just even here on Twitch and want to go back and watch the YouTube things, like, if you go back and watch it, I just seem like I've run into all the black decks, all the burn decks, whenever I play Elves, and then you see me start to play other decks, and suddenly I'm running into, like, then I run into Tron, and then I run into Mono Blue Delver, and Bogles, and the decks that I should have a good matchup against, and for some reason I never seem to be running into them on stream with Elves, so what can you do, though, you know? And it doesn't help either that a lot of opponents, I've kind of gotten the reputation as the Elves player. So a lot of people seem to think, they know that I'm playing Elves, so if they see that I'm on Elves, they go in on hands that are more likely to beat Elves. Which is one reason I've also been branching out to different decks, as well as different formats. Tomorrow, I'm debating on whether or not tomorrow I'm going to play more Pauper, or if I'm going to play some Pioneer. And it was mostly going to come down to how I felt Pauper was right now, because, you know, I was seeing a lot more of the cycling combo, a lot of other things, and I'm just like, I'm honestly not enjoying the format too much right now. We'll see how that continues to trend, but I don't know, the format's been in a weird spot right now, and truth be told, I haven't been enjoying it too much. But we're still going to try and get there and do what we can with it, because I still want to play multiple different formats. You know, I'm enjoying my time. I'm enjoying time with, like, Pioneer. Modern has been alright. Legacy is borked to heck because of Luris right now. But even then, I'm still enjoying the games that I'm playing. It's very homogenizing, and I think it's going to, we're going to have bans at some point in the near future, for sure. Maybe not in Pauper, but definitely in Legacy. Legacy and Vintage. Rena Xena. Alright, let's see what happens here. That's an easy mulligan. If you all are enjoying the stream, though, all the same wins or losses, you can feel free to hit that little follow button up the top, little heart. This is good. We just pitch back the Harsh Sustenance. Roll with it. But yeah, I am streaming most days now, actually. I am full-time streaming, full-on content creation. They put 2 cards in the bottom of their deck. Okay. Are we going to have an actually good matchup now? Is this Tron? Are we actually going to get be able to deal with Tron? Who knows? We'll find out. It is Tron. Alright. Prophetic Prism, sure. So we actually kept a really good hand against Tron. It's just a matter of if this can get there. Elvish Mystic, okay. Okay, so we got a good board here. Ooh, that's interesting. They kind of took a risky play there. Mole Drifter. With the Ephemerate play, sure. Alright, let's go. Wellwisher. So we get to draw 7 cards off of this Distant Melody. And we found Melody number 2. We are off to them races, friendos. Alright, so... Elf. Found a Longbow, but we didn't quite find the Nettle Sentinel to kind of go off here. So you have to be really careful about how this plays, but we are very set. I don't have any Nettle Sentinels currently, no. Play the Lead the Stampede first. There's a Nettle Sentinel. Sure. Find some lands. 16 in hand. B4L4, how are you doing? Thanks so much for the follow. How are you doing? You walked in on us having some fun here. Our opponent isn't scooping because they might have... First off, I prefer to avoid calling my opponents he. I'm just assuming... all that. But also, they probably don't think that they might have something along the lines of like Stonehorn Dignitary and try and get there that way. We're gonna go for this Longbow now, though. Let's kill this Mole Drifter so they can't try and get value off of it next turn for... Well, put that on this token. Again, I would prefer opponent... I prefer to say opponent or they. 4, 6. Okay. Tron isn't necessary. I haven't seen Tron running any suffocating fumes, but that is a possibility. Let's discard some of these for us. They might have been, trying to see what they could draw. They could go Stonehorn Dignitary, Moment's Peace. If they're going compulsive research like that, then yeah, they're like digging for some kind of an answer. So this is pretty easy. In with 2 Prohibits, in with Relic and Longbow. We'll cut the Essence Wardens. They're pretty actively bad here. And 2 Wellwishers, I think, is probably fine. Sure. Yeah, they could have an answer, possibly. But I think between the Wombo combo of Timberwatch Elf and I think the line that they would have had to take would have been maybe. So the one thing I'm thinking would be Dinrova Horror. But that wouldn't even do it. This hand is really good, though. So we're snap keeping this. This hand has actual, like, everything that we need. And for the record, I didn't bring in any, since I'm sure somebody's probably wondering or asking, I didn't bring in the Spidersilk Armors because a lot of Tron lists actually lately have not even been playing Electrickery. So it just hasn't been as good or necessary. But we'll see what happens here. Interesting play from our opponent. Let's go Wellwisher. They do have Tron. They found a power plant out of their library, which makes this kind of interesting. Let's attack like that here. Let's see what they've got. Okay, if I counter this, can I win? I think I win. I'm gonna try it. That'll do, Peg. That'll do. Hold back Timberwatch, double pump. And we win. Never didn't have it, chat. Oh, man. All right, so we're at least 1 and 3, right? We're kind of getting there a little bit. That is interesting. So my guess is that they didn't have God, what was it? They probably didn't have like any prophetic prisms or anything, which is why they didn't try and go for that. So they were probably trying to hold up like a counter magic if they thought I was going to be doing something that could kill them that turn, or trying to trickery us or something. Well, the thing too wasn't just that they were putting a blocker down with the Stonehorn Dignitary. You got to remember too, the Stonehorn Dignitary actually removes our ability to have a combat step. So by not being able to attack, we wouldn't, be able to get in lethal damage there. Basically, the way I mapped it, if we can go back to that for a second, I could kind of show what I was thinking. So we had these creatures on the board. So that's 2, 4, 6. We definitely had a 7th creature. So that would mean the Timberwatch Elf would pump for 14 points of damage. And we would have hit for, 14 off the double Timberwatch Elf, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We didn't even need to cast the Huntmaster, but it's probably better just on the off chance just to go with it like that. But we definitely had game. Like, not even close. So, because what we could have done, obviously we had the Forest. So, Forest plays the Fyndhorn Elves. So, that's, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 damage, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And they were at 19 life. So, yeah. So now we got one more match for this league and see how it ends up. Hopefully we can get that 2-3 finish so we can at least get some of these play points back, huh? And then next round we're going to try and go in against the excuse me. We're going to try going in with the Cycling Songs deck and see how that plays out for us. I'm kind of interested to try that one, but I'm also a little nervous. Like, I feel like we're just going to die a lot, to be honest. All right, we got a match. Something good, please. One time, Moto. Ankylosaur. Ankylosaur has a history of being on aggressive decks, so like Stompy Elves, things like that. This hand feels really good here in that case. Llanowar Elves, quick hits into Timberwatch Elf plus Lead the Stampede all feels great to me. So let's see what our opponent is on this time. Swamp. Dear God, are they on Mono-Black Control? See, every time I play Elves, we run into this problem. God damn it. Every time. Totally felt like that was coming on here. Okay. So unfortunately, we can't really get there with the Birchlore Rangers into the... we can't go in on the Lead the Stampede here this turn, unfortunately. Next turn, we should be able to cast it, but we're probably not going to be able to get there with the Birchlore Rangers. So they're probably going to actually use the Kumbaj Witches to kill the Birchlore Rangers before we can actually get any value off of it, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? And totally called it. Interesting that they're holding up mana still. This is a pretty easy attack the Nettle Sentinels and see what happens. Yikes. Interesting, though, because we're actually in a weird spot here, because we can actually get, even if they go Kumbaj, which is one of the Elvish Mystic, or one of the dorks, we are still going to be able to get the Lys Alana Huntmaster, which is going to actually be harder for them to kill for the most part here. So let's hit them for damage here. That longbow, though, is pretty nice looking. I'm still going to go for this Huntmaster. No, let's attack first. Yeah, Gary will suck. Especially because they'll probably have it in multiples. But let's get this Huntmaster online now, see how this works. You gotta remember, too, the one thing is we are still hitting their life pretty hard. So, okay, so they're probably going to go in on the Mystic, yes? No, interesting. So we're going to pass. There's no sense of me attacking at this point. I wouldn't call that odd. Even if they had a Gary, that actually still makes sense, because it means that they're not going to let me get as much advantage as possible. Because even if they can Gary, they can still I can still like kind of explode onto the board here with thanks to the Huntmaster. Another Sign in Blood, sure. Ooh, Pete's Candy. All right. Let's go Essence Warden. Quirion Ranger. And stick the landing on this Wellwisher, and we'll see what they do at this point. Maybe I actually should attack, because that would at least get me, like, kind of get those Kumbaj witches off the board. Yeah, let's do that. Exactly. Hitting the Wellwisher. That's fine and dandy. I think I want to get the longbow online here. I can worry about Quirion Ranger next turn. Let's put it on the Huntmaster. Makes the Huntmaster even more of a target, but that's fine. It just makes it easier to push the damage through as well. So let's just roll with it for now. Because if I put on Nettle Sentinel, the Nettle Sentinel just dies. A horrible, gruesome death. Target's Quirion Ranger. That's not unexpected. I'll just throw it at their face here, since I can't do too much otherwise. If I, because I didn't have the other Quirion Ranger, so I can't get a whole lot of value out of that Huntmaster play. Rager is fine. Another 3 mana for a Chittering Rats. Well, that doesn't necessarily help me out here, but we'll deal with it. Okay, 1 to their face. Alright, so I can kill a Kumbaj Witches here. So now it's just a matter of, do I want to? I think I do. Because I feel like if I take him down to 5, then they're just going to drop a Grey Merchant, and then it's going to really mess my day up here. So yeah, let's go in on the Kumbaj Witches here. And then move it on to a Nettle Sentinel. So now they can't kill the Nettle Sentinel with the Kumbaj Witches, which makes my life a little bit easier. I also take some pips off of Gary, so this seems a solid way to go about things right now. The Kumbaj Witches still deals with the Quirion Ranger just fine, but that's okay. Another Phyrexian Ranger, you got me. Unearth on Kumbaj Witches. Big yike. Chittering Rats. So they're definitely trying to set up for like a big Grey Merchant of Asphodel play. Feels like. Do this. See what our friendly opponent wants to do to us here. Can't kill him yet. Probably going to pick off the Essence Warden at the end of turn. Or not. Feels like a Grey Merchant. Chittering Rats. Chittering into Gary. Yeah. That was 16 points of damage. Well, this is good. Alright, so we're still dead if they have another Grey Merchant of Asphodel, but we're gonna kind of try our best here. Yeah, if they have Gary, they just win. Thorn of the Black Rose, huh? That's interesting. Sure. Shinobi is interesting. And that's really interesting that they actually let us kind of have this a little bit. $10, $11, $12, $13. Doesn't matter how I do this now. Let's get that out of the way. Actually, I think I would have been more damage. It's going after Essence Warden, so we're just going to kill that Kumbaj Witches. Goodbye. We're going to take out this Shinobi, because that's probably going to be an issue. And then I'm trying to think if I want to kill one of these chittering rats. I probably do. So we just pass, see what happens this turn. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 points of damage off of a Gary. We can still do a lot of blocks. We're very much still in this game. Priest of Titania. Well, okay, Priest is dead. So it slows our game plan just a little bit, but not by too much. Can't. So I can only hit for 2 points of damage, so we just got to start picking off the small creatures. We got to go for these chittering, ratty boys. So now Gary is doing 9 points of damage on their side. We still have good blocks. Them having Monarch is going to hurt, but I still think we're doing okay here. We've at least stabilized to keep up through the game. Which is kind of just going to make things a little challenging, because they get a Kumbaj, which is back on top of their library, which they're going to draw at their end step thanks to the Monarch. Ooh, hello, friend. Okay, so we can do 3 damage to something. So my option here is I can kill the Thorn, or I can kill Chittering Rats and hold up mana for the next, or hold up next turn where I can go at a Rager as well. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go for the Chittering Rats here. Oh, wait, I can kill the Rager right now. Let's... Maybe I should have actually attacked those 6 elves and try and get the Monarch from them. Get booped. Bajuka Bog, that's totally fine. So we know they got Bog, Witches, and an unknown, or 2 unknowns. Oh, absolutely. I'm definitely a fan of trading for Monarch at this point. So I think it's actually just best to go in with all of the Elf Warriors at this point and see what happens. Okay. All right, and then we can kill Witches and the Rager. Yeah. Yeah. So they can come back and claim the Monarch on us, but that's fine because we're still in a very well set up board state at the moment. Duress, sure. Yeah, sure. Chainer's Edict. You got me, friendo. Just start sacking away those Elf Warriors. All right, Thorn again. So they take back the Monarch. So 1, 2, 3. So I can. I still think it's best. Yeah, let's do that. That's what we gotta do here, right? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goes in. And they have a removal spell. No, cycling. So they're trying to find a removal spell. Yeah, that's fine. So then the Quirion Ranger will kill the Garys. Or at least one of them. We get the Monarch back. And we have blockers to deal with the Thorns, as well as the Gary on the Crackback. So we're pretty good here. We may have actually turned a corner. We're not fully there yet, but we might have actually. We're very close. We're in a pretty good spot, actually. That's fine. Lose another Elf Warrior. Yeah, for sure. These games are the kind of things that make this format even sometimes just really kind of fun. Gets Verdict. Okay, so now we lose another Elf Warrior. I'm actually cool throwing a Wellwisher in front of Thorn. I feel like at this point it's just better to keep the board. We have one life gain thing still. Take another Gary out here. Wow, and we hit the Harsh Sustenance as well. That's fantastic. Alright, so easy attacks with the Huntmaster and Wellwisher. Hold back the Quirion Ranger, because then we can always do the block on the Thorn. Ooh, hello, piece of candy. Defile. It's unfortunate, but it'll do. I don't even care. Opponent, you got me. Hopefully I can draw another small creature here. Another Chainer's Edict. Okay. Got me on the Wellwisher. These forests are not what I want. This... No... Let's put Longbow here, see what we draw. Fyndhorn Elves. I still think it's I gotta throw away that Priest of Titania as much as I don't want to. I need to get to a point where I can hit multiple creatures at once. And this is only game 1, too, folks. Oh, no. Deck, why are we doing this? Nettle Sentinel. Nettle Sentinel is actually really good here, because that'll actually get one of those thorns, excuse me, off the table. I don't want them to get the Monarch too much. Well, maybe actually it might not be the worst thing at some point here. Oh, God. Why? Feels like every other draw is a forest here. Ugh. How many leads have I played? 1 Lead the Stampede? Okay. Right, but at some point they'll be able to control the board long enough that they can kill me. That's kind of the thing I'm trying to avoid. I need to lead the Stampede, like, really badly. Oh. Amazing. Alright. F6. Let's see what we got. We got another creature. Ranger. This is such a strange game. Okay. Oh, well, we got a melody. Apparently it wasn't. Kind of came out okay there. Alright, so we got Springbloom Druid, which is actually awkward, because now we can't melody, but... This is a weird spot, because I actually want them to take the Monarch at this point. Yeah. Opponent's got me. You can have that Monarch back, opponent. Come on. All right. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay. We're going to try for this melody and see if we can actually kill them. This isn't going to do it, but... We're very much in F6 mode at this point. No, there's 2 Lead the Stampedes left. There's also another distant, at least one more distant melody in our deck. Not actually. Well, that was the wrong one. I should have gone for the Chittering Rats, but no big deal. Basically, I'm just trying to keep them off their creatures so that they can't kill me. Should have put those on these creatures, but that's fine. What do they got? Let's get this off the board and just let them mill out at this point. If they try and Chainer's Edict, then we just lose the Elf Warriors here. Sure. So they have to kill us this turn. If they can't kill us, then they just lose. They got one more Grey Merchant of Asphodel in their deck, or at least they should if they're on 4. Turn 28, folks, by the way. Alright, so we got there. God, what a game! Alright, cut the 2 melodies. Cut the Essence Wardens. Yeah, so we gotta play quick here. If we look like we're gonna lose, then we just kind of just scoop on the spot and just go into game 3. We can't really waste time here. Actually, you know what? Let's say screw it. All in on the melody plan. I don't have the time to really get in there with a longbow kill. So we're just going to try and roll with the melody and see if we can actually get there with something. Yeah, so don't mind me if I pay a little less attention to the chat going forward for the remainder of this game. Hand is great. All right, what do you got, opponent? Take the Lead the Stampede, please. This is really good. Birchlore Rangers here too. So we're all in. If they have the Shrivel, then we're just going to scoop and go to the next game. Swing. Easy block from them on probably the Priest. Yeah. Rats. No land. Oh, we're just dead. Scoop. Next game. Crip Rats almost makes me want to bring Gut Shot, but I think that's just too risky. Not even going to worry about it. Let's just go. Hand's great. Jesus. Let's go for the Springbloom here. That way we guarantee we've got our 3 lands. We're not so... We don't just insta-lose to a Shrivel. Yeah. Easy peasy. Geez, double Timberwatch? Let's go. Come on, let me have this priest. Ranger, sure. Got me, opponent. Lead into lots of goodies. All right, let's see what we've got. Can our opponent wipe our board, or do we win? Can they answer both the Timberwatch Elves? That's the real question. Crypt Rats for 1. Okay. So we still have the Timberwatch Elves and the Morph. This is why I like Springbloom Druid, especially for games like this. It gets them out of the, or gets the lands out of the deck. I was afraid I was going to misclick there. All right. Now, can our opponent deal with the double Timberwatch Elf? What are we doing? Tendrils, sure. Lead the Stampede into a lot of stuff. All right, we're getting in for a lot. We should have this game pretty wrapped up, in my opinion. It's not over just yet, but we're almost there. Sign of Blood, okay. Phyrexian Ranger, sure. They basically needed to get deadweight there. And we got there! Wow! Okay, so we didn't do the greatest. We ended up 2-3, but what a time! Unbelievable. Alright, so... wow, that felt great. So, alright, I'm going to wrap this up for YouTube, so hang tight, folks. We're not going anywhere just yet. If you're, I want to say thanks to everybody here on YouTube, everybody for watching, sticking through with me to the end, especially on that last one, because that was a doozy of a match. Some of these have been a little bit rough. Obviously, we ran into a lot more of the black decks than we really wanted to. We ran into I think it was the Dimir Alchemy, Mono-Black Control, and Pestilence. Like, I don't usually run into all that much nonstop. So... then we also ran into Tron and into the mirror match. The mirror match just managed to get there ahead of us before we could get there. And then, obviously, the Dimir Alchemy just kind of managed to edge us out. That matchup is a little more hit and miss. Depends on just who gets the better draws. And Pestilence is again, one of those, can I get there really fast? But I also built my deck actually assuming that I wouldn't be running into any Pestilence decks because I took out the Elvish Vanguards. So, as always, big thanks to cardhoarder.com for making all the streams possible. You know, if you want to find me on Twitter, you can do so. I have a Discord server if you want to hang out in Discord, chat with me up about decks or whatever. You got me there. All kinds of stuff. So you can find all the links below, matches, whatever. Hit the like, follow, subscribe. You know the drill. And until then, I'll catch you next time. See you then. Thanks for hanging out.